Tell us about the grade of aluminium you chose for the chassis construction and what led you to that decision and why.
The thought initially was purely to take a Beetle, do the necessary to make it handle better, and stick a V8 in the center of the car. And if you do a one-off car, the easiest method is to take a whole bunch of mild steel tube and start structuring it as you go along and as you see the parameters of how you're going to do this. But very soon we realized that this was going to be more than just one or two cars. And if you make that decision that you're going to build more than one or two, and in fact you're going to build a production, and you're going to invest the time and the expertise to do something that decent, the obvious step was, let's go aluminium, or as you correctly said, the Americans call it aluminum. So for now, I'm going to call it aluminium. So that was a great idea. It's not a problem. But aluminium does have a lot of disadvantages in general. So your standard aluminium, if you bend it, it has fatigue. When you bend it back, it has fatigue. So by the time you've done it 4 times, it cracks. And I think that most people, when they see this aluminium chassis, they go, oh shit, that's not going to work. But in fact, it's all about the aluminium or aluminium alloy. So I started to investigate, what do we use? And having hunted and hunted, I found that in shipbuilding, and in fact some petrol tankers, they use a particular grade aluminium. And the reason they use it, because a ship at sea is permanently moving. So you can't have a big tanker leave here and before China it cracks in half. And it's because of the aluminium. And a petrol tanker has got so many thousand liters moving around in the back. That tank is moving. So with the right aluminium, this is solved. So what we're using one of 2 grades, 5083, 5182. So those are the 2 grades of aluminium. So we've tested it here in the workshop. And this test, and I'm going to call it a test, started 8 years ago. We've got a piece of aluminium, we stick it in a vise, and we bend it. And everybody that comes to visit gets to bend it. So it's been bent 100 times, and there's not a hint of a crack on it. So the cracking scenario has been solved. And the other thing is, with aluminium, when you weld it, so if I had to run a weld along here, the weakest part would be right there where the weld is because of the heat. So 5182 and 5083 have both been designed such that you can run at full weld, and that's not any fatigue there, and the unit, the chassis, doesn't need to be heat treated. It's solved. And that's what we want. We need to be able to weld, finish a chassis, and keep going. So if that answers your question, it's all about the right material. It's not the fact that aluminium has got disadvantages, it's got a lot of advantages.